So way back in 2006, we got the release of the Classics line. At the end of the Unicron trilogy, we went to a throwback where Optimus Prime was a truck, Megatron was a gun, sort of, and every other vehicle by the name of their characters was what they were used to be in G1, but just with a new sort of imaging. And in 2006, we got the release of the first wave of the Transformers Classics line, and one of those most heralded Transformers, I think, before Siege itself, was none other than Classics Optimus Prime. He turned back into a truck, no more fancy beast mode, no more fancy fire truck, no more fancy car carrier or Gatai robot. He was just good old faithful Optimus Prime to turn into a truck. Didn't have a trailer, but he still turned into a truck. The original concept for this toy was actually supposed to be deluxe size. And it was supposed to be two, one with the trailer and one without, with controlled drawings from none other than Don Figueroa. But of course, they upscaled his artwork and made it into a Voyager size. And thus, we got an Optimus Prime that was what we all intended purpose to be the Optimus Prime for the Classic line and going into the future. But 2 years later, in 2008, our friends over in Japan, under Takara, decided to release the Classics line under the Henkei line, which stands for change, I think. And thus, we got even better repaints of what they did in the Classics line. And this, my friends, is none other than Henkei C-01 Convoy. Now in Japan, Optimus Prime is known as Convoy, and that's that. I ain't gotta say no more. He was Battle Convoy. You know, that was what he was with the trailer when he was in Diaclone. And they stuck by that name all throughout the Transformers in Japan. So, what do we have in front of you today? None other than this guy. And yes, I can really bang this like this because this thing is kind of tough to this day. Now, I've owned various versions of him, and we can go down the line. The most iconic, of course, is going to be the Classics in the Henkei. There were some that were released in 2 packs. One that came with Optimus Prime, another one that came with a recolor of the Classics and Henkei Megatron. It was also released in the Transformers Cloud line, which is one I would honestly say is as close to like a G1 movie one as you can get. But, you know, if you've owned this toy at least twice, you probably didn't buy it, and now it's worth a pretty penny. And then to me, to be honest with you, you got, you know, Siege and Earthrise and Kingdom. But this vehicle mode was cool because it just represented a truck, Optimus Prime Convoy, but it had a slightly new, different, you know, modernized take on the original 84 design. And going over its features, the thing is still beautiful. And of course, with Henkei, you got a lot of vacuumized, you know, metal. So this would be gray is now vacuumized metal. You have a much more vibrant shade of red, deeper red as well, and a more darker shade of blue. And the colors are more cohesive to each other. Of course, you got, you know, the gun that turns into the pipes here in the back. And of course, this is also an extra gun. There was a lot of playability with this, but a lot of people complained because there was no trailer. And the biggest issue was kibble. But the thing to this day is just clean. I mean, whether you like this version of Prime or not, or you didn't know about this, you didn't grow up on this version of Prime because this really predated the movie. This thing blows a lot of stuff out the water for being, you know, a very older toy. And while it's not perfect, it was a very sought after Prime for a long time. And I mean, this is one of the best rolling, and this is because of the surface. This wheel's probably not rolling, but you can roll this anywhere, it rolls. We'll go over the details. It's got darker blue windows. It's got less silver striking, so it's trying to mimic as much G1 as possible. The wheels were always the same. They were always painted wheels. But this is just a straight darker blue here at this area. From the back, you can see it. And you can see they intended to put something here because this, there was supposed to be something here. And of course, just the blue headlights. And I think these were like yellow, more yellow than they were blue, but it's had silver here now. But other than that, it's just fantastic. And you want to compare them to what I have now. So I don't really have a lot of Chug toys. In fact, I don't even know. I had probably maybe have one or two. I sold off a lot of my Chug except for this guy. And probably my the other one, the Jetfire. This Henkei Jetfire is still my favorite, next to, of course, Siege. But we do want to compare him to some other vehicles in the Earthrise line. And then, of course, we'll compare him with Prime. So here is Grapple, which is still just way out of scale. But just to give you an idea of the Voyager. And, of course, here's Ironhide. I'd say they scale close to each other. And then just for a tiny little vehicle, here's Bumblebee. Now, the vehicle mode is slightly larger than most of what we have. And I want to do a quick measurement. So we're going to go kind of fast. It's late right now. And he is in vehicle mode about 6 inches here. So he's about 6 inches. And height, he is about 3.5. And so that's just to give you an idea. But he could scale with many of your, Earthrise vehicles. So like, let's say you had this Prime and you never picked up any of the Siege or Earthrise Kingdom Optimus Primes. You still can't go wrong with this, especially in vehicle modes. It's one of the most solid, sturdiest vehicle modes ever. I've rarely had an issue where nothing fits at all. Like, it's still the probably the most intuitive transformation, and with all of the changing that it goes through to get to achieve robot mode, it does it seamlessly, and we'll do it on camera too. We're gonna take them out of the way for a second, and we're just gonna bring in the new OG, none other than my favorite Optimus Prime, and that is the Walmart Netflix. I believe this is Kingdom. I think it is. Is it Kingdom or Earthrise? I can't ever tell in these days where they go into. But this is the Netflix Earthrise version. And the reason why I like this version is because the darker blue. I love that he had darker blue, and I love this. Not that lighter blue is. And these two almost, paint scheme. And these two almost match each other as far as paint scheme. Not close. I mean, this is still a deeper red. This was an earlier time where they gave a damn. But still, the plastic quality is of a different breed. And this, just being well painted, this guy still is, for all intents and purposes, a bit bigger and a bit more beefier. Like, I could see him ramming through a wall. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this thing, both of them look, his color scheme is very similar. And let's just do like a, stack. Well, I don't know if we can do that, but maybe. This is actually feels heavy. I don't have a way to weigh it. That's Dennis Moulton does the weight thing. I need to get a scale. That'd be the next thing I want to do. But this still feels a bit heavier than this one. It does. It still has more. The plastic is much more denser. And even from the bottom, as you can see there, just beautiful. Just beautiful. And I love this Prime, but this is my boy right here. This is my boy right here. I've had this for a long time. So just keep that in mind. I used to have the packaging for him, but I can't find it. I still have the packaging. If I ever do a review of Henkei Jetfire, I'll show you the packaging for that, but I don't have the packaging for this. And no, I didn't steal it from the factory. I've owned this toy forever. So we're going to take him out the way. And we're going to pause for the cause, and we're going to do the transformation and be back in 2 and 2. And you talk about this thing wasn't cool looking back in 06, but 08 when you got this version? What? What? You ain't gonna tell me this wasn't a bad boy. He is a bad boy. He's still a bad boy. Always impressed by this version of Optimus Prime. So let's go over a few things here and back him up a little bit so we can get him in the light. And first things first, let's look at that head. Let's look at that light piping. Yes, he's got some serious light piping, man. You can see it. Look at that. Look at that. Everything is painted to the nines. Articulation. Leg goes out to there. Leg can go out to here. He's got a big knee bend. Feet does not swivel. There's no feet swivel. This is, this is 2006. And the leg can go back to here. Of course, it's blocked by kibble there. He has the elbow. Like I said, no fist rotation. Arm goes to here. He does have waist rotation. And once everything locks in place, he does have that. But just be forewarned, you're going to have to lift up the back kibble. It kind of, get him to turn. And it's got clicking, so you know what you're doing. This is earlier time. You just, of course, the head doesn't really necessarily look up and down, but it does do a 360. And the arms go out to here, just so you can see. Make sure we get that up. And boy, can he Van Damme. He can Van Damme. The paint on this is exquisitely done by Takara. This was some of Takara's best work as far as paint jobs. Especially going through the Cybertron trilogy and things of that nature, Unicron trilogy. Man. And of course, you want to see the gun in his hand. Like I say, I'm not a fan of the wind vane gun. It looks like a gas tank pump, but you can see it. And then the same thing goes for here, the other gun. I think the other gun is the one that I prefer because it just fits better. But you have two guns if you want to have it. So for the rest of the video, we're gonna fold this back up, put this back on his back. Like I said, everything just clicks, man. You don't get that no more. And they just stick it on the back. Some people turn it the other way. I kind of like it this way. And there you go. You have Optimus Prime, aka Convoy Henkei version. And it's a beautiful piece, man. And we're going to come back and do some comparisons. And then I'll just, give my gushing thoughts. Now for some quick comparisons here. Starting with our little friend Bumblebee. As you can see there. The only thing that I will say he's overshadowed by the kibble that he has. He just has that kibble. Next we have Grapple. So I'll bring it closer here. And he's still a little bit taller than Grapple. And just one more Autobot for the comparison of just, the soldiers in the group. There's Ironhide. He still stands pretty tall here. And with the A stance, he is about, 6 3/4 inches, right a little below 7. So that's none other than the Netflix Kingdom or Earthrise Optimus Prime. Now, let me be clear when I say this. This is 2006. This is 2020, 2019, 2020. You know, I think what a lot of people were upset with is that we didn't get a much larger Optimus Prime, and pretty much, you know, they're roughly the same size. You know, I mean, like literally they are. There's no question about it. They are the same size. You know, there's no, but the modern articulation, the more even like just almost masterpiece quality engineering put it into the Earthrise Netflix version, you know, sort of blows us out the water. I still think, and we'll compare them with some other Optimus Primes that we have here that are, well, third party. This is Battle Tanker here. Let's get him in the shot. Let's get them. And then of course this is Make Toys Striker Manus, you know, which in all intents and purposes, this Striker Manus to me captures a lot of the Classics Prime, but he's much bigger. Like I still feel like this is how the size of Optimus Prime. Like all these other Optimus Primes, and this is, you know, G2 Prime would help me parts. If you ask me, he's, well, not quite G2, you know. But if you compare them, you know, this Optimus Prime, you know, let's get them all in frame here and let me straighten him out. He's got a slight lean today. And I'm going to review Striker Manus one day. Battle Tanker, no, because I hate transforming that thing. And believe it or not, these are both Make Toys. But as you can see here, he just Make Toys still towards the version of him. But I mean, I just want to see how he measures up with Earthrise Megatron. I like Earthrise Megatron. He's a pretty cool guy, if you ask me. You know, I mean, they look good together. They look good together. Of course, he does look better if it's, you know, the Earthrise Optimus Prime, but yeah, they work. They still work. So, you know, and I always keep Laserbeak perched on his arm because I just love that. You know, I don't need to say the line. You should know the line if you watch the movie. So yeah, that's it. This is the retrospective. You know, let's take him out of the picture. Final thoughts. So it's not really final thoughts because this is a vintage classic toy. Underrated. Yes, underrated, because a lot of people hated the kibble. And they hated this kibble, but very underrated Optimus Prime for what it does. If you have to store him, you could transform him and all the parts to stay together. You won't lose anything. You know what I'm saying? I keep him in vehicle mode, and he's been in a pile of toys, and pull him out and everything just is there. Nothing breaks off, nothing snaps off. He just, oh, I still like him. To this day, I still like him. You know, yes, I still think that the Earthrise is better. Without a doubt, Earthrise is better. Showed up I like all through a few of the movies and packs. And I mean, how much more can we say? It's a great figure. It's still a great figure. Always will be a great figure. Dare I say it, he's a 9 out of 10. Hands down, still to this day. All right. So this is my retrospective of what I figure is an underrated Optimus Prime. Classics Henkei Prime. Thank you for watching my video. The road to 1,000 is there. Please like, subscribe, and share. Likes help me get in the algorithm. If you like my videos, you can donate $1 or 50 cents or whatever you want to donate to my Cash App and help the channel. Other than that, I'm not asking you for anything. It's just out of the kindness of your heart. Other than that, I pay for all the stuff. I do all the work. All you got to do is just watch, like, subscribe, and share if you want to. My name is Super Robot Ed. Thank you for watching my retrospective of Optimus Prime. Classics, Henkei, Convoy. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.